you can see, this is the faceplate. Well, you might not be able to see that because it's upside down, but this is a faceplate. And my lathe runs the D1-2 Camlock system, and this is one of the extremely good condition Camlock pegs which sit inside the faceplate, 3 of them. Now I thought they were 11mm, but clearly this is an old lathe, so if I could zero this out, I'll just zero it out. I thought 11mm, 10.98, yeah, 10.99, 11mm. Sounds good, yeah? Well, when you measure the hole inside the spindle, it's not, it's a 7/16. Anyhow, the reason why I'm making these pins, it's not to replace the pins which are really corroded and pitted and awful in this, because these work. The reason I'm making these pins is because I'm making another backplate. And that's what I've got. It's a type CG, whatever that means. Completely good. Yeah, obviously. And the maker's name is Klopper. Probably German, is it? Klopper? I don't know. The thing is with this, if I could just wind the jaws out a little bit and show you. Pause. So I don't have a chuck key for this yet, so I'm using a weird angled 3/8 drive extension bar, a wobbly bar. When I first got this chuck, it was sea solid. It was a solid block of rust. You could not move it. And I put the whole thing in the electrolysis bath for about 3 weeks, taking it out and scrubbing the rust off, taking it out and scrubbing the rust off, and then eventually one day it started moving. So I believe this chuck has probably not been used very much at all. As you can see inside there. Yeah, I don't know. But it's pretty tight. The jaws are pretty tight in it. So I'm making a back plate to fit this, as well as other things. I spent a lot of time planning them and making them. And these are hardened, so they're taking ages. So this is what I'm making them out of. Let's have a look at that. Put this away. So like I was saying, this is what I'm making it out of, and if you can't tell what it is, if it had that on the end of it, would that give you a better idea? So it's a wheel brace, so I'm guessing it's chrome vanadium. Making loads of those, because I'm going to need more back plates than just one, and every back plate needs 3 of those. And making them with pre-hard stuff is a nightmare. Complete and utter nightmare. But I've only broke 1 tip so far, so that's a positive. And I haven't broken the bottom yet. sure. Let's have the snap carbide, for sure. That's a beautiful finish. You know when you get those aluminium things, and it's rough but it's smooth. You know what I mean? You can tell it's parallel, but it's also it's like a thread basically, a very, very fine thread. Feels beautiful. Dead rough. Catches your nail all the way down. But it feels symmetrical and perfect all the way down. Just got to turn the drill slower. I'm using the drill to feed this on. And just turn the drill around about half the speed I'm turning it at, and that will turn out beautifully. Alright, let's let the pressure. Oh, damn. Just got wrong. I didn't know the measurement. Oh well. Not our best. This is vegetable oil. Obviously something happens when you do that. Don't know what happened, something moved. Playing the saddle, whatever it is. Not happy. That's 93. Hmm, 93. Alright. Like I say, this is vegetable oil. Let's see how this does as cutting fluid for tapping. Vegetable oil. It's mixed with a bit of whale oil and a bit of sulphury cutting oil as well. But I've started adding vegetable oil to the mix. And it started. Feels like butter at the moment. And when it stays like that is anybody's. Something happened, I don't know what happened there. Maybe it slipped in the chuck. It slipped in the chuck. Nope. My spanner fell off. Again. Wow. That seems to be a little bit easy. Well, that's really easy to cut. That's like, I have never felt this die so easy. Has it even started? I don't think it started. I don't think it's even started the threads. No, it's not started threads, has it? Or has it? I don't know. I think it's pushing the tailstock backwards. Well, not anymore, it isn't. It's pushing it into the chuck. Turn the chuck up a bit. Now you're going to start, surely. I'm just pushing this die here. There we go. Now we're getting some threads going. That sounds like it normally sounds. Oh yeah, that's way better. That's the noise I was expecting. letting me down. Oh yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Oh man. Stick some more oil in, it's getting a bit dry. Okay. Okay. Well, there's some threads on it. Whether they're any good or not is a different matter. This metal is very hard. This is a tungsten die, so it might have cracked. But it looks like it got some threads on, so I'm going to put it on backwards now. Just stick some more oil in it, clear the swarf out with the oil. And I'll run it all the way up to the bottom of that. We'll see what it looks like. Looks pretty good, to be fair. Oh yeah, start to cut some threads again. And that's it, all the way up to that bottom. Oh, looks pretty sweet, to be fair. I'll use a bit of Brillo pad as a pretend Scotch Brite. So I'm doing it in reverse. If I keep it in gear, I will. Yeah, that's not bad. A bit crumpled at the front, obviously, because wasn't putting enough pressure on, but that'll be right. This has got one of those hardened steel ends in it. It's really chipped again by dragging it down the chuck. Not to worry. So we'll do that for a start. has no problem cutting that at all, and leaves a wonderful finish like normal. Cool. I don't know what that end's called. Clean it up a little bit, we'll have a look at it. Must get some more though. They're probably non-coated because they're a very dark colour. Just clean it off, we'll have a look at it. I've chipped it. But that's alright, I don't usually end on this one, I use the sides on this one. Usually. This is chipped. This tip is. See if we can get a focus on that. There we go. Lovely. Get a bit closer, get a better focus. There we go. So that's what they look like. They're more like, I think they're uncoated. They're the same colour all round. And you can see that end's chipped off. And that one leaves a lovely finish on hardened steel, but any significant interrupted cut, or if you try and turn the centre and it's not going fast enough, it will just take the tip off like that. It leaves a superior finish on brass as well. You can see there's lots of brass all over this. It leaves a beautiful finish on brass. Absolutely gorgeous. But hardened steel, you can see the colour of it. When you're looking on eBay, you look for one that colour, and they're really, really good on hardened steel. Right, I have run into a small dilemma. A few at the same time. First, I dropped my charging cable into the swarf, so I've just had to clean that off. Hopefully there's nothing in there. Let's zoom in on it and use the camera to see if there's any swarf in there. I've only got some. And I went ahead and made them like this. So let's drop them. So I've got my first three right there. Wonderful. So we've got the appropriate diameter on the shank. A bit of give, that's what I like. And then I've put a land on it. And then the threads. But that seems to be a problem. I thought I was being clever by putting that little land on it. But I think, unfortunately, it's not going to work for 99.9% of the applications. Like that. Carry the threads all the way down to the end. Part them off, probably at the length of the land. So there's only very few threads on it. Get a thin piece of sheet steel, or a 6mm piece of sheet steel, a thick 6mm plate. Circle it up into a nice circle, bore it out so it's got clearance for the collets. PCD it, tap and thread it for the 10-1-2 file which I've used here, and then just screw these in. And then once I've screwed them in, mark them 1, 2, 3, and mark the plate 1, 2, 3. Put in the Camlock location. Mill the take these studs back out again. Mill the Camlock location into them. Screw them back in, and that will be these done. So these are just bodgy ones for a little, very thin plate, which is going to cover the nose cone, so I don't damage the nose cone. It'll come out just to the land on where the collet sits there. So that's them. Next, this here is a piece of silver steel. Silver steel is water hardening steel, tool steel, drill rod. whatever you want to call it. It's tool steel. Okay, so it's a hardenable steel. You heat it up, quench it, and then temper it, which is what's going to happen to these. Hopefully I'm going to get around about 40 odd Rockwell. Not it too hard. I think this stuff will go to about 60. So we'll bring it down to about 40. So you can still cut it with a file, but it's going to last longer. That's all good. So the next problem I had was this bit of drill rod is big enough to get 6 of these out of. The next problem is I was bringing these down to 10 mil, and then I was running the die down at 10 mil, and everything was going hunky dory. Some are going to be slack, some are going to be really crisp. In fact, most will be slack and one will be really crisp. Well, this one went really wrong. This one went down to 9.5, I think. 9.46. But that just happens to be 375, 374, which is 3/8. So I've decided, because it turned out at 3/8, I'm going to make it 3/8. That presents another problem. I don't have any 3/8 dies, so I'm going to have to do thread cutting. Because it's 3/8, it's going to be a TPI setting. My lathe can do TPIs. So I looked in the threading charts, got the Zeus book out, and we looked through, and I thought, here we go. BSF, I want a fine thread. 3/8 is 20. And I don't want 20 threads per inch, I want more than that. Then we came to fine UNF, basic sizes. So 3/8, 24 UNF. That's 4 extra threads per inch. That's got to be stronger, so I'm going for that. British Standard Cycle Thread. British Standard Cycle Thread. And 3/8 is a 26 GPI, so I could have gone for the 26 TPI British Cycle Thread. And I can't remember whether they're 55 degrees or not. Oh no, 60-degree angle. So even if I went for the British Cycle Thread, I'd still need a 60-degree angle. The problem there was the external threading tool is 55-degree angle, which I've got with the lathe. It's not a problem, I could adjust that, but I'm in England. We use 55-degree threads on lots of things, especially on this old lathe. There's lots of 55-degree angles, so I didn't want to readjust that and then readjust it. And all I've got is 12mm steel. As you can see, I'm trying to make a radius tool here. That side isn't going bad, but the other side isn't. So I thought, well, we'll flip that round and we'll make a threading tool. I don't know if we can see that. Yeah, there we go. And I got that. Oh, not really showing you anything there. Yeah. Perfect. And I've decided to go for a neutral rake, because putting any kind of positive rake on it is just a complete pain in the arse in the long run. So I've gone for a neutral rake. I've got a 60-degree tool, and well, it didn't take me long at all. I'm quite surprised. I'm really surprised at what it's turned out. Really surprised. On this side here, not quite so good because it's a wide plane, and then I've diamond lapped it up to the point. I think just got to the point just. I'll take too much off of it. I can always lap this side down. I'm getting this wrong. No, I'll just bring it up until it touches there, and I'll bring it off by about 3 thou, because I'm going to be doing the advancing this way. So it's always going to be away from that, which means this will be the cutting edge if I'm doing it this way. Oh bugger. Or I could adjust the compound so it's the other way and bring it in this way. That way I'm also cutting on the back of the thread. and it's always pushing the tool forwards. Yes. Yeah, so I bring it up, touch the shank, then I bring it back, touch the land, then I put a DTI in it and I drag it away the 60-degree sign of the depth of the thread. And then when I'm cutting the thread, I know when I touch this land and put a chamfer on it slightly, that will be the full depth. And the first thread will be as close to the land as it can be, because you can't get any closer than that. And that'll be the indicator that I've gone to full depth. That's what I'm planning to do. Right, this is the complicated setup I have. I have checked it. Here we go. Got a DTI, I believe it's Imperial. Yeah, it's Imperial. I haven't messed up with that bit. So we've got an Imperial gauge there. That's set up against the tool post. I'm bringing you in a little bit, I don't. So that's set up against the tool post, and I believe everything is hunky-dory. So as I advance that tool post in, I'll get the depth of cut reading, because it's square up against it. And the thing on the doofer here, the down here where my hand is, the micrometer adjustment handle, whatever, that means nothing. Everything is on the gauge now. Everything. And this is the measurement we're looking for. 3/8 24, outside downward to 375. We've got that. We've got 374. So we can knock half a thousandths off this. Will do, I should imagine. And tail stock in a bit further, and should get a nice angle of what's going on there. Now I've got to concentrate, so there won't be much talking. I don't really want to be doing this. The only other thing is that I have been collecting vegetable oil. So that is a vegetable oil mix in there. It has got some mineral oil in there, but we're starting to get a lot of vegetable oil in there now, and I'm using it. The first lot was from potatoes, from baked potatoes. I've just put some in off of onions. So I'm going to be getting a potato and onion smell off of this. And when I was cutting threads with a die yesterday, it cut brilliantly. Absolutely brilliant. I could not believe the difference it made by using this vegetable oil. It was fantastic. The die just went straight down. So there is some oil, vegetable oil. I'm going to run the lathe up and we're going to go for it. Holy buggery dooly. That's knackered. Ooh. Oh. Not as easy as I once thought. Yeah, I don't know about that. Took the end of the thread off. I don't know if it's took the end of the tool off, I don't know. Doesn't look like a thread to me. Let's clean it up and have a look. That's saying it's done 30 thou now, which is a few thou more than what it should have done. But not to worry. Let's disengage the gearbox so it's not noisy. Let's give it some cleanage. Ooh, some nasty, some nasty bits on that. We'll just get rid of those. I think on that last thread cut I just took all the threads off and double cut them. That's what I think just happened. So not happy. It's a bit hard to get it exactly right. I think I've got it right all the way down to that last one. Unfortunately, that's what I think's happened. No, I ain't about to focus on it. So I've been, you can see most of the grinding marks are out of that now. So I've been on the diamond plate, grinding that by hand from, that was eggshelled all the way up to the top, near enough, like, and all the way down to the bottom. And now I've got it so it's near enough finished eggshelling, or whatever you want to call that. Because you can just about see the tips missing there, can't you? Just the tip now, like, yeah. And then I've brought that down so there's more strength at the tip there now. So the amount that's going full flank is all the way to the top. This side's harder to sharpen just because it's thinner, so that's why I haven't spent too much time on this side. I don't want to get the angle off. Now I've got it nice at 60. But this side is so easy, just put lots of pressure on, hold it in its angle and you just start grinding. It's, you can see the tips missing there, can't you? Look how it's pointing down. Yeah, in that dark area you can see it. Yeah, look, still got another little bit amount more to go. It's not a lot, it's not far now to go. It looked worse on the camera there. There's just a bit missing. But there you go. So I'm on a break now because my fingers are killing from doing that. I add there and it's knackered the threads a little bit. So they didn't cut to full depth and it was a bit rounded and a bit sharp and coarse, so I can zoom in on them. A bit of lighting right. Better with no light, isn't it? Zoom in, that's the most we can zoom in. So the threads have not perfectly formed. They're not bad, but once I've sharpened the tool, I've left the setup as it is, so sharpen the tool, we'll touch off again and try and cut the lands of those threads. I'm sure the peaks of the threads are fine, it's just the lands are knackered. So we've got the thread finished. There's a bit of hair on the back of it. Swarf it's from the Brillo pad. And it looks pretty decent, to be fair. We're in back gear. No, we're not. So that's it. I've measured the outside. We think we've got 369 now. So I've cut the depth of the thread until I started taking material off the OD, and it all feels good. It's a bit sharp at the top. It's taking my nail off a little bit. I could file a little bit, but I think that will be fine. There we go. Looking pretty good. And the end here where my fingernail is, I'm just pissing around with the end of that because this is going to end up being about where the fingernail is anyway. It's going to be quite a considerable amount shorter, so I've just messed about a bit at the end there, basically.